Hey, everybody. So this is our second podcast. I'm Jamie.
I'm Sheena.
And this is our second offering. And our first offering was last week. We talked about social media as medicine. Today, what we're going to be talking about is piercing the perfection bubble and neutralizing the pedestal. And that is a mouthful. And hopefully, as we talk today, it'll become more clear really what the medicine of this offering from our hearts to your hearts is truly an embodiment of. So without further ado, let's go ahead and zip up our fields. This is kind of a practice that I feel like is really pertinent to do because Sheena and I are both going to be probably talking about personal testimonies. And those are our stories, our narratives. And when we're in a place of receptivity, especially for those of us that are on this ascension journey and we're consistently choosing expansion, sometimes that can leave our fields a little bit open to receive maybe something that we don't feel is 100% in alignment. That softening, as it were, of the ego, we can let things into our field that maybe don't feel purposeful on this path for us, for our unique path as we work towards unification. So we're going to align and attune. We're going to set our intentions for the greatest and highest good. We're going to zip up our fields, and then we're going to jump right in. So we have got our drums here, and Sheena's got her drum. We're going to be sharing some music, some musical offerings today. We don't know what those are. Who knows? We might be singing, we might be dancing. Who knows? I know. I'm filled with joy.
We're filled with joy. We'll find out what happens.
We're filled with joy. So let's just go ahead and get started with our aligning and attuning process. And Sheena, you just jump on in and we'll just drum together. Connect to your breath. And on the inhale and exhale, send your awareness into that beautiful heart space. The emerald ray beaming from your heart chakra. And when it feels in alignment, bring that emerald ray up to the ajna, connecting emerald ray to indigo ray. What this does is it creates a divine merger of unconditional love and unconditional knowing. We're aligning and attuning the physical body, the chalice that invites our soul to be here now with these pure spiritual energies of our etheric body. And what we do as an additional step is we create this beautiful connection from the heart to the ajna, and we intentionally rise to connect into that higher self, that soul light, that platinum beam, blending the emerald ray, the indigo ray with the platinum ray, creating a beautiful braid of body, mind, and spirit awareness, connection, and sovereignty. Feel what this feels like inside your chalice. Expand just a little bit and check in with your layers of consciousness. And with this aligning and attuning and allowing the spiritual energy in, we're going to expand once again and just visualize the being that is you, that is limitless, that is infinite. Visualize your energy expanding to connect to your source self. For my source self is your source self. And Sheena's source self is our source self. And in this place, we bring in that pure source energy while simultaneously connecting into center, the center of our mother, Sophia Gaia, allowing Mother Earth to simultaneously be the giver and receiver of this intentional love, intentional connection, intentional unification. And in this space, as we're connected to source, as we're connected to center, we are one. Take a deep breath in, and now the voice within your heart, allow it to claim, remember, and proclaim the intentions for the greatest and highest good. See these intentions coming to life before you and witness them as they expand to touch every living thing throughout all time and all space. And as you see your intentions traveling through the cosmos, witness where they meet each other on the other side. Take another deep breath in, and we will intensify these intentions by calling forth the greatest and the highest choice. Once again, feel this within your chalice. And now witness this intention going out from your heart to touch the heart of every living thing throughout all time and all space. Feel these intentions being received while simultaneously being given back to us, connecting us through our entire galactic family, through our entire Earth family, and creating this celestial container for love, for light, for connection. Knowing that we are divine, we are human, we are here. And in this now moment, everything that we are meant to receive for our highest good will be received.
Ashe. Namaste.
Namaste, sister.
Ooh, that was like, I could feel like a whole like rain cloud just spreading rain around the world, just like little love droplets everywhere.
Yeah, like we zhoozhed it. We zhoozhed it.
We zhoozhed it.
We zhoozhed it up. Okay, so I'm going to put my drum down. Those of you who know me know her name is Georgia. So we're talking about piercing the perfection bubble, neutralizing the pedestal. And Sheena and I have been kind of birthing this into being for about 3 weeks now from our original conversation. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Sheena, for you to kind of speak into sacred space, whatever is in your heart right now to sort of share as we really birth forth this medicine from our hearts.
What I love so much about this message is really that all of us are on this quest right now, seeking resources, seeking support, and, you know, our higher selves are just seeking a higher involvement right now. And I think that we are at this beautiful place where we have so many healers and so many places out there that we are just constantly looking to learn from people, looking to step into our higher timelines. And there is a place where sometimes, because of an old program that we were adopted into, a lot of us, in my experience with Christianity from an early ages, I was programmed into seeking ascension or seeking a God or seeking a higher power outside of me. And so there has been a journey of me always seeking that divinity outside of me. And now that I've reclaimed that divinity within me, now I have a whole new relationship with the God complex, the guru complex, because I know now that that's my higher self seeking support in all these other realms, that when I find it, I know that I haven't found a guru to worship and idolize to disempower me, but rather I have found someone that my higher self has brought forward for me to learn from in that moment. So, you know, I do believe that we are all divinity. We are fully in our humanity, fully in our humanness. And we disempower ourselves every time that we hold on to that old programming that thinks that we have to seek it outside of us. So much of my awakening is really just finding these beautiful people, these beautiful healers, these beautiful empaths, these beautiful highly sensitive people, these beautiful warriors, these beautiful starseeds, these beautiful oracles, all these beautiful people out there are just gifting me my own divinity back to me when I see it on their messages and I feel it in their frequency. And that is so much of what my goal is now to do as well, is show up in my highest self so that someone else's higher self can find that out there and find their divinity within through that medium. We're all fractals of the same diamond. No one else is the diamond. We're just looking at a different face of the same diamond. And that's, yeah. So this message today is really just about empowering ourselves to be okay receiving the support from everyone out there, knowing it's our higher self connecting us to that support to receive that medicine in there and ripple it back out for everyone else to receive that same divinity within them.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so beautiful. And in all honesty and authenticity, 3 weeks ago when I had this message to share this particular offering, I told Sheena this morning as we were preparing for this, that I knew that I didn't know then, but I know now, 3 weeks later, how much growth has occurred, that was coming from a wounded side of me that I was looking to transform. Let me explain. As a therapist, I'm a psychotherapist, and as a healer, I work in the healing arts. I had really bought into way more than I understood or even realized this paradigm of perfection, specifically that I needed to be living some type and embodying some type of perceived perfection to be able to do the work that I was so called to do, my soul's purpose. And as I really have sat with this over the last 3 weeks, what I've realized is that this channeling, this idea has given me the opportunity to soften my ego and to authentically be myself and know that is the medicine. It's not about being perfect. It's not about living somebody else's perception of what perfection or a perfect life is so that I can be in some kind of hierarchical place of telling someone else what to do, which I would never do anyway. But none of that needs to be present. The only thing that needs to be present is the now moment of stepping into the sacred container with the intention for transformation, whether I'm the giver or whether I'm the receiver. And I think maybe even giver isn't the right language to use around that. When Sheena and I first talked about this, I said, I feel like in my work, all I am is the mirror behind the flame. And to fully embrace that and cherish these gifts that I have, and everybody has their own unique gifts, but to embrace the gifts that I have through my human journey, I have to soften the ego and I have to show up as exactly who I am in any given moment and know that that is the medicine and that is okay.
Better than okay.
Better than okay,
Better,
right?
Authenticity is the medicine. Perfection's not the medicine.
Perfection is a myth. It doesn't even exist.
Right.
But you're right. Authenticity does. And so I think too, just really quickly, you spoke about how we got to this place. We got here honestly, right? We've got 5,000 plus years of programming that our divinity is somewhere outside of us, and we need a gatekeeper to help us get there. We need somebody to give us the permission, and that is the God complex, the guru syndrome, the priest preacher, kind of like somebody outside of us gets to be the one that gives us permission to receive this sort of divine energy. And that's just not the case. There's no hierarchy. There's nobody outside of us that is our own best counsel. There's nobody outside of us that knows our God self better than us. However, through our human evolution, through our human earth walk, it is our divine inheritance to seek out support, to seek out the facilitators, the healers, the medicine people, to give us this golden healing light of support so that we can fully receive the flame of our own brilliance. And to me, that neutralizes the pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is where the real sort of healing piece for me and for my intention with doing this podcast is. Yeah. So to shift gears a little bit, can we talk about, and you so beautifully expressed this, we were voice texting each other back and forth last night in preparation for today. Can you speak a little bit about looking up to people and how that gives us the ability to be in the center of our divine cross that is us?
Yeah. And I'll just I'll share that when Jamie had invited me into this conversation, I had to speak, I had to clear the air to say, Jamie, sometimes you're my guru. And we talked about what that really means, what that truly means to me. And when I spoke that, when we could actually share that, that's when I could really step into, okay, she's not my guru, she's my sister. And so really the message that I feel in your message, and the same one that I want to deliver, is that our God is so powerful within us that it's constantly finding places to show us our divinity. And we find them in our mirrors, in our community, in our reflections through the people that we look up to and we love. We don't make them our gurus. I love Jamie. I'm so inspired by Jamie, the healing work that you do, the gifts that you bestow on me, the gifts that you bestow on the world, the academia, the amount of time that you have spent stepping into your divine vessel. It's such medicine that of course I look up to it so much. And also you are my mirror. And that's how I've been able to break down the patriarchy in my own system, is that she's not above me. She hasn't learned more than me as far as, to put her on a pedestal. I bring you into, when I'm creating the sacred chamber for me, for my ceremony, for my living day, I'm calling you into that because you're my sister, because I'm calling in the people that I look up to, because it's my higher self that has found you to show me my divinity back to me. And that is what we are all doing with each other. There was a soul contract that I made on this lifetime, that I had to go in the human experience and experience what suffering felt like. And in order to heal and to step into a place of healing, I had to know what it would be like to alchemize that suffering. It was my choice. It was my sovereign choice to step into this human experience and suffer. It is now my sovereign choice to be the witness of that suffering instead of embodying the suffering anymore. Now I can embody the healing, and I can continue to embody the healing through the mirrors of the beautiful people in my life without pedestaling them, without making them better than me, without disempowering the divinity in me and handing it over to someone else. We are one. And that is just the beautiful embodiment that you reflect, that now we get to share with Media as Medicine in this way. We are not your gurus. We are your divinity staring back at you.
Absolutely. When Sheena left me that message last night, I was listening to her say, but Jamie, I do look up to you. I do, to paraphrase what you said, like, I do make you my guru. And my immediate response, and I texted or voice texted her back, I said, and I look up to you and you're my guru too. What's different is that we don't have the pedestal. And what I want to explain with that is, like, when we take away the wounding of the hierarchy, we take away the vibration that somehow we have to stay in a one down position if we are receiving support. And when we are in that one down position, putting someone else on a pedestal, that is a two-way street of wounding. We wound ourselves and keep ourselves in almost an inauthentic vibration of expectation, meaning that this person's going to come in and heal me. And that has with it a whole like vortex of Well, if they're going to come in and heal me, then like you said, they obviously know more, they live better, they're more in the perfection bubble, and I'm not. I'm somehow less than. And that is not the case. And that wounds the healer, that wounds the authentic relationship of the sacred space, because it's not genuine.
Yes.
So when it comes to this place of just this awareness, what our sort of divine intention is for us all to become so gently self-aware of what we're doing and why. And we talked about this with our Media as Medicine podcast last week, but in relation to this guru syndrome wounding. And I even wrote this in my notes as I was preparing for today, and I shared them with Sheena. Where are we letting, right, our ego lead us with fear, versus where are we allowing our soul to guide us to our divinity? And how does that get birthed into being in this relationship we have to the people in our lives that are the therapists, the healers, the medicine people? So really put your hand on your heart and think about the constellation of your relationships, all of them. Where are you putting human beings on pedestals and expecting superhuman qualities to come online because you are in a vibration of one down, versus where are you opening to listen to the guidance of your higher self to find these beautiful divine human beings to reflect your light back to you, so that you reawaken, you reclaim, and you remember your empowered, authentic sovereignty. Because this is an equitable exchange. Every time I step into a healing space with a client, every client I've ever had through my psychotherapy practice, through my healing practice, through the groups that I've done and facilitated over the last however many years, it has been an equitable exchange, meaning I have learned just as much about myself and my earth walk as I feel like I have held the mirror up, you know? So just really let that awareness be very gentle. We do not want to kick our own ass through the back door. Now, a lot of you have heard me say that before. We don't want to punish ourselves and criticize ourselves and think, oh, that's where I'm doing it. Something even more is wrong with me. No, this is the growth edge where we get to say, okay, I see it. I see the lines on the page, and I'm going to choose to color in the way that I need to color for my highest alignment. And is that going to be releasing the fear of the guru syndrome, that somebody out there knows better than me, is better than me, and I have to have them to open me to my God self, my goddess self? Or is it just that I am my God and goddess self, and I am allowed to seek support on this human journey? Yeah. All right.
And I'm allowed to be human too. You know, I think that sometimes I create a separation and I isolate myself, because I think that in certain areas where people have been known to see me performing ceremonies, I have this idea that I have to be in that facilitator role all the time if I'm at that space. And so if I'm having a really human day full of experiences,
yes.
I will isolate myself and not go to that ceremony space, because I think that I need to be a more enlightened version of myself at that moment. And then I isolate myself from the community that I'm there to receive from. I'm not always going to give to my community. I'm going to receive in that same community. And if I turn myself in, if I go on my spiritual high horse and I don't think that I can be allowed to be human in the same circle that I give to, then I don't receive from that same circle. And that in itself disempowers why I do these things. If I think I have to go somewhere else and find my own community, you know, it's the same community.
Yes. Yes. Amen. A woman. Everything that you just said. Yes. So one of the things Sheena said to me in the voice text yesterday was, when I'm in my sacred space of your own daily ritual ceremony of embodying your highest self, she said, Jamie, I call you in. I call my sisters and my brothers in. And it's that piece that just so deeply touched my heart. All of what you said deeply touched my heart. But that piece really reminded me that we have to be again, I want to just be a broken record with this. We have to be so gentle with our humanity. Our egos are here for really good reasons. They've kept us safe up until now. However, we cannot unknow what we know. And when we are noticing ourselves isolating, pulling in because we perceive we're not perfect, we perceive they're not perfect, what that does is it puts more coins in the bank account for the illusion of separation to get bigger and bigger and bigger. However, when we can become aware, when we can be in the center of our own cross, that is us, the divinity that is us, we can be just so expanded in the receptivity vibration that we, in our sacred space, which is every moment of every day, call in our soul family. And our soul family doesn't have to be perfect to be a soul family, no matter who they are. We are one. We are one entire source self consciousness. So just really do a personal, spiritual, personal human inventory. Where are you pulling in and choosing the suffering, the illusion of separation, and expecting people to be perfect versus stepping into the bliss of unification and allowing people to just be their authentic self.
Yes. You know, when I look back at the stories of Mary and Jesus and their healing work, you know, Jesus didn't heal. He just saw people in their wholeness, and that invited their higher selves to come online and heal them through that reflection. And that's what a healer does, is they show up embodied fully in their wholeness, and they give permission for people to do the same.
Yeah. I think about the times in my life where I have chosen the wounding, chosen the suffering of isolation by putting people in my life on a pedestal. And then when that person did something that I perceived as not perfect, of what the paradigm in my brain wanted to convince me a healer had to be, the byproduct was disappointment and loneliness, and almost like the vortex of victimization.
Yes.
And, you know, I stand in human testimony that I've done this. And I also stand in my divine request for us to all open our eyes to see and our ears to hear, so that we cannot deify the person. We can step out of the vibration of needing the guru, and we can sanctify the moment. Because in that space, everyone and everything is source. Yeah. So some things came on about belief systems that we get to download when we're in this place of awareness. So the first one, and I'm going to speak it into sacred space, and then I'm going to pass the healing wand to you. The first belief system that came online for me when I really started to dance with piercing the perfection bubble, neutralizing the pedestal for myself and for all living things, is that I got to download the belief system that I truly do deserve optimal well-being and divine healing.
Yes, that's your birthright. That's your divine birthright.
Yeah, what else comes up for you when you think about that in context of piercing the perfection bubble gives us this belief system that we truly do deserve to heal.
And I deserve to claim my divinity within me. I deserve to know that I am a fractal of source consciousness. I deserve to be so empowered that I don't give my power away to somebody else, because just that little moment of signing up for a class with that expectation that this person knows more than me, I'm planting the seed in there that's corrupting that DNA strand that's looking to be
activated.
It's I disempower myself if I think that the next person's going to teach me something I don't already know. And that's why I'm so obsessed with the gene keys. And I love the philosophy of the gene keys. I love studying it. I love sharing it, because it's so empowering to see that this is the expression of my DNA. And this is how I can bring it online to be source energy and to be love for people. And it's that book was so empowering to see, oh my gosh, I was told that it's over here and it's in the ashram and it's in the church and it's in Jesus and it's not, it's here. And so just reclaiming that and sharing that I am God, I am goddess, and so are you. And I'm a witch, and I am all the things that at points in our lives, especially as women, we weren't allowed to claim. To be able to claim that now, and share that in itself is just medicine. Just claiming my divinity is medicine for me.
And that's a perfect segue into the second belief system that came on this morning as I was furiously taking 5 pages of notes. Those of you that know how my brain works, you can appreciate that. The second belief system that I got to really download was, I deserve to heal. Yes, number 1, but number 2, I am divine. Because if I'm divine and I am one with all of life, every living thing is also divine.
And how divine is that?
Yeah. How exciting is that?
It's amazing. And that's where the joy is.
I was just going to say that.
That's where the joy is when that is your soul coming online. And when you talk about the difference between fear and love, am I operating from fear? Am I operating from love? The difference can feel really subtle because we took on a soul contract to experience everything in the human vessel. Yeah. So we took on the experience of suffering. We also took on the experience of sovereignty. Yeah, and now I just forgot what I was going to say, but
I think you telepathically beamed it to me. What was coming into my head from your higher self, our higher self, as you were saying that is that this morning, Sheena gave this beautiful image of the cross. Like, we are that equilateral cross. And, the sort of center point can be this heart solar plexus merger right here. So in saying that, all roads lead to home. All decisions, all the times you've put somebody on a pedestal, all of the choices that you feel may not have been in alignment with your highest good. Guess what? They really were.
They really were. They got you to this now moment.
Yep. So it's all divine. All paths are the right path. And once we become aware of this space that we get to be in of, I deserve to heal, I am divine, then we know that there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
It's all right here. It's all part of us just being us. And that's divine.
That's divine. And that's the frequency that comes through, is when I realize that there's a playfulness that comes through. There's a joy that comes through. I recognize that, yes, I stepped into the human experience to understand what suffering looked like, to understand what all the human feelings felt like. And then also, I'm also sovereign to now bear witness to what the human experience is like from an observer standpoint. And when I observe, I can now observe you in your divinity and in your humanity, and not make you my guru, because now I'm the compassionate witness to you and your divinity, and to all these other people that are out there making magic. We get to say, we made this soul contract to experience all of it. And now let's be sovereign to be a witness. We don't have to be in the suffering of it. That brought us to the crossroads. Once we got to that crossroads, now we can say, time and space, let's collapse into this now moment. And everything from there sparks joy, sparks pleasure, sparks creation.
Yes, yes, yes. And to kind of circle back on what we were talking about this morning before we started the podcast, with Sheena's sharing that with me earlier this morning, what we kind of talked about was, through that compassionate witness, observer place, we step into the third belief system that comes online. I am all. All is me. And that neutralizes the pedestal, yes, but it also neutralizes the sacrifice, the suffering that has been part of the human experience for millennia. So yes, we again have to gently and compassionately love ourselves through this, but we do not have to choose the suffering of sacrifice, which leads us to isolation and separation. We can choose the observer role, and through compassion know that we are one. So something came up something came up to come out. And I just want to read this. I've got it on the bottom of notes, page number 2 out of 5. Just listen to this. Let's both read it together right here. So I see my sister as I know myself. I know my sister as I see myself. I love her as I love myself. I love myself as I love my sister. So, piercing the perfection bubble gives us, once again, the ability to download into this chalice the iteration incarnation that is us in this now moment of today, walking our earth walk with the unification, knowing that we are one with all of life, that we are one. And that gives us, like you just said, connection, joy, bliss, authenticity. It gives us all of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have to get all my projections from you. I can get my divinity from you.
Yes, absolutely. So I think this can kind of lead us into sort of the conclusion, because I think we've talked about most of this stuff on my notes. Well, one other thing that I just read that I want to kind of put into words, into language, is that another thing that all of this that we're talking about can birth forth within our consciousness is we can step into releasing even more of the patriarchal paradigm when it comes to rules and regulations and standards and the shoulds. Because it can feel so overwhelming, because it can be the soup that we're swimming in, but it doesn't have to be. Once we've opened our eyes and our hearts and our souls to really come online, we can be, I would say, embraced by the isness of everything. It all fits, it all is, and we don't have to just be weighed down with well, it should be this way or it shouldn't be that way. The rules and regulations just sort of kind of fall by the wayside.
Yeah, that's been one of my mantras this year in my own work, is stop shoulding on myself.
Yeah.
That's the inner patriarchy breaking down. Quit shitting on myself. Quit shoulding on myself. You know what I mean? It's that, could I be better? Should I be better? Should I do this? And then when we talked about as media as medicine, we have to be content creators. We have to be all the things we're supposed to be doing. Like, no, I'm supposed to be authentic in my expression. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm supposed to be. Perfectionism for me is a strand of fear. That's a fear of not feeling received in my embodiment, that I have to live up to an unrealistic expectation. That's the patriarchy that I'm dismantling. That is the exact same reason why I don't want to go on and find a guru out there, because it's me. It's all of us are breaking our own patriarchy within our own systems, that just allows the softening to see people in their divinity more than their humanness, accept people as they are, accept people for the soul contracts that they made. Even in just dismantling that paradigm shift for me, it just even allows me to look with fresh new eyes at the people closest to me in my life, to see them in their divinity, especially when they're in their humanness, and they need to be seen in that place even more so.
Absolutely. You are a very strong and powerful way shower of this for me. And I love that you used the word dismantling, because dismantling to me insinuates that we can approach this in steps. We don't have to feel like we have to just flip a switch and then it's all gone. And for some of us who work that way, namaste, but some of us almost feel like we've got to take it away brick by brick. And that brick by brick removal process can happen as quickly or as slowly as we need it to be. And that just has to be divine, right? However, the other piece of it is the vibration of adequacy. Are we adequate enough? Am I adequate enough to claim on my website that I can offer these gifts as my service offering to my world? Yes. And so are you.
Yeah.
So are all of us. There's no such thing as being adequate enough. Yeah, there's no such thing, because we are so damn dynamic and divine that we are consistently evolving.
We're multidimensional beings. We are in all time and all space collectively at the same time. We have to be so compassionate with ourselves as we navigate this human experience, because we're simultaneously experiencing so many other dimensions.
Yes.
And we just have to be gentle that everything is divine. The most sacred thing is what is.
Yes. So once again, really put your hand on your heart and take another inventory. Where are the pedestals present? Where can the dismantling process happen on your timeline in your own way through your own divine sovereign awareness, so that you can fully step into the knowing you deserve this. You are divine. We are all one.
Not only you deserve this, you are this. You
Yes.
are this.
And it's our birthright to remember that we are a family, and families come together to support each other. Now, if your family of origin story did not gift you with this foundation, that is okay.
Most of us didn't have that experience. That's how we got here. However you get here
is how you get
is how you
here.
get here.
However, we get to sovereignly claim through our divine will and free will the creation of this new soul family, right? And I think that can kind of put us into, yes, the conclusion, which is where I started several minutes ago. But the last sort of point I want to hit, and if you want to hit other points, please, let's speak them into sacred space, is that when we step out of this expectation vibration that perfection wounds us with or limits us with, then we can really step into the space of claiming the value of what we bring through our gifts. We all have unique gifts to give to this world. So think about it. If you needed your logo embroidered on a shirt, you would go to, if you're not an embroiderer, you would go to someone to have that done. Would you expect that person that does the embroidery work to be perfect? Probably not. Would you expect that person that does a perfect person? You want your embroidery to be nice, but would you expect that person that does the embroidery work to bargain on the financial exchange? This, I think, is another place in space where we can open our eyes to see the wounding when it comes to seeking support for the evolution of our human journey, when we call in the medicine people to reflect our higher selves back to us. When we're in that vibration of expectation, we can feel like we want to place a value on what we're receiving. There's a certain aspect of our human self, I think, that is going to want to come online to bargain as to what that value can be, what we're willing to exchange, and what we expect for that exchange. However, when it comes to those of us that have the healing gifts, and that's us, that's you, that's all of us, if we are willing to step into a bargaining place, I feel like that's one more step into the place of the perfection paradigm.
The disempowerment.
The disempowerment of it. What else is coming up for you as I speak that into sacred space?
Nothing's really present. As I mentioned to you before, I do see sometimes people posting these beautiful healing events. And then at the very end, they have a little thing. Well, if you can't afford to pay that, that's okay. Just message me and we can work it out. And that in itself is my reflection. If I'm seeing that on somebody's post, I know that there is something inside of me that's afraid to charge my rates, that's afraid to claim myself as a medicine woman. And so that's the reflection that I'm getting recently is seeing those beautiful posts. You get to the very end, oh, but we can work out payment, and then I just, and I want to send love to that particular healer because I know that she's having a human experience that I can relate to as well. That's not feeling empowered in that moment to say, I'm worth X amount of dollars. Let's go. That's the energy exchange. I know how much I've worked to get my vessel into the place that I can provide that level of healing for someone. That was 4 years of education for me, 7 years of education, really 40 years of education.
40,000, 400,000. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my reflection recently is seeing those posts about people having these beautiful things and then a discount on the offering. And that reminds me that I'm still working on removing that idea that I have to discount an offering or I'm not ready to claim it. Yeah, that's what's coming up.
Yeah. And we're not trying to sound like we're being like speaking on two sides of the same coin here. And what I mean by that is, let me just backtrack for a second. And Sheena and I talked about this morning. We've all chosen to be here now, right? In our Earth School experience. And we live in a world where we pay bills, we pay for our, our accommodations, we pay for our food, we pay for our lifestyles. So that is something that it's part of the isness of the now moment, right? It's the reality that we live in. To whatever extent we choose to live in it. However, I would just overlay on top of that, just like what Sheena said, if you see an offering, a healing medicine offering for you, whether it's an individual session or a workshop or anything in that sort of realm, and your immediate reaction is, I can't afford it, or I want to bargain, where is it inside of yourself that there's a feeling that you're not worth it? Or that they're not worth it? Because if we're all one, that's that sort of, backward and forward wounding that we are perpetuating that belief system of value and of worth. And we're all worth everything.
If we're going to master, if we get to master the 5D realm, we also are going to master the 3D realm. And abundance is a byproduct of that. And that's okay to have financial abundance. And that's something that I've had to work through because when I stepped into the spiritual world, I had this idea that I wasn't allowed to be well off financially because I was seeing reflections of people that were giving sometimes to their detriment. And it made me feel like I was supposed to do that as well. Like to have, to accept monetary abundance in this lifetime was somehow not divine. And I had to work through that. Like, no, if I'm going to master all these realms, I'm going to master the 3D realm. And one of them is going to be with financial abundance because that is a spiritual teacher to me. Money is just energy in motion. If I'm going to give this energy into a space with someone, I can receive that same currency back because that's the energy in motion. That's the currency of the experience. We are, I don't even want to say deserving, because we're just so entitled to the energetic exchange of the experience and however it looks.
Absolutely. Yes. Let's all get our hands on our heart and just press all of this into the chalice. Sheena and I want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what do you have to add to this conversation? Get in touch with both of us. You can find me on my website, all the social media handles for Divine Mommy. Sheena, how do people find you?
Right now, you can find me on Instagram at Rise Wellness Village.
Gotcha. So in saying that, we have an announcement to make. So Sheena and I would like to announce that we would love to invite you into the co-creation of plant medicine with us, specifically the plant spirit of Hape. Yes. So we have both been dancing with Mother, Father, Hape and our own individual. And today we stepped into sacred ceremony together with Hape. And it feels very much in alignment to say that we want to open this offering to our brothers and sisters to experience together as one. So if Hape is something you've been interested in, maybe you're just hearing about it for the first time and you get that tug in your heart space, get in touch. We would really love to start to co-create these sacred ceremonies for you individually, for you as a sacred divine union with your beloved, and any iteration of what that looks like.
Yes, I'm so excited. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really beautiful way of communing with the plants who are here to guide us. That's our guru.
Yes,
Mama
right.
Gaia's our guru.
Yes. And as we talked about this morning, which I think we'll probably talk about more in the future, is Mother Earth is our healer, and yet she is also the receiver of our healing.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else to speak into the sacred container?
No, just grateful to be sharing this beautiful space with you, grateful to be getting this
Same.
message across. And I just feel the softening in my body around hearing it. And even though, like I said, we've been working through this conversation for the last couple of weeks to now be in the co-creation, and the ceremony of this experience is helping it land in a beautiful new way. So thank you. I hope the message is received for y'all as well.
Namaste. Yes.
Namaste.
Yes. Well, let's get our drums and let's drum ourselves out of here. We will once again align and attune, but let's just maybe drum for a moment. There's a song that's coming up to come out. I know Sheena knows this one. She's going to sing with me, and I want you to sing with us. I am the goddess, I am the mother. All acts of love and pleasure are my ritual. I am the goddess, I am the mother. All acts of love and pleasure are my ritual. I am the goddess, I am the mother. All acts of love and pleasure are my ritual. We'll bring that into our sacred space. That is a Shauna Carroll tune. Connect back into your heart. Sheena, what does your heart have to share with us right now?
That was it. That was the transmission.
Connect heart up to Ajna. Does your activated Ajna have anything to share with us?
I just hope that everyone can connect with nature today and find their divinity.
Aho. Bring that beautiful emerald indigo ray merger up into the platinum ray of your soul, connecting source self and center self to center self, reiterating those beautiful intentions to send the greatest and the highest good out to every living thing throughout all time and all space, and the greatest and highest choice. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you. And we love you. Thank you so much for listening, for being here with us. Get in touch. Let's keep this conversation going. And as our soul family network of support, we can just always be the mirror to each other's flames.
The divinity in me sees the divinity in you.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.